Chapter 2887. After running for a while on the path of vitality, Lu Ming used the ancient god tactic to shrink his body and revert to his normal form. Maintaining the ancient god body consumed a lot of stamina. There was probably going to be a big battle later, so he needed to conserve his stamina. He did not know where the vital energy path came from. Lu Ming followed the vital energy path and walked for thousands of miles before he finally reached the end. In front of him, there was a huge bubble floating in the dark void. Tentacles extended from the bubble. These tentacles were the 81 origin chi roads under their feet. Lu Ming's eyes were instantly attracted by something in the middle of the bubble. It was a crystal that looked like a heart, emitting a bright light. The Heart of Desolation. Lu Ming knew that it was the Heart of Desolation. However, no one fought for it. Those who came in earlier than Lu Ming stood at the end of the origin chi road, looking at the Heart of Desolation greedily. These people shouldn't be able to enter. Lu Ming pondered but did not act rashly. However, even though Lu Ming did not move, the others did. There was a flash in the eyes of an old lady who entered at about the same time as Lu Ming. She took big strides forward and pounced toward the bubble. She wanted to dash into the bubble and grab the Heart of Desolation. The others watched with cold smiles on their faces. Bang! The old woman slammed into the air bubble. She slammed into it. With a scream, the old woman retreated. Her face was bruised, but her injuries were not serious. Stop dreaming. We can't enter this bubble now. One of them sneered. Why didn't you warn me? The old woman stared at that person with a gloomy face. Who do you think you are? Why should I warn you? That person sneered. You. The old woman gritted her teeth. However, her cultivation was not as good as the other party, so she did not dare to say anything. What should we do? Are we just going to look at the Heart of Desolation and not get it? Someone frowned. The Heart of Desolation has appeared before. I saw it recorded in an ancient book. At this moment, a white-haired old man spoke. You've seen the records, then do you know how to obtain the Heart of Chaos? Someone's eyes lit up as he looked at the white-haired old man. I do know. There's no harm in telling you. The white-haired old man smiled faintly and said, the balloon outside the Heart of Chaos is formed by powerful energy. Every day, the energy will extend into 81 paths of energy. Every time, only 80 people can follow the paths of energy to reach the center. Therefore, only when living beings have stepped onto all 81 paths of vitality will there be a way to obtain the Heart of Chaos. According to what you said, when the 81 paths of vitality are occupied, this bubble, which is the vitality morning and evening, will dissipate. Someone asked. In your dreams. Let me tell you all, not all 81 origin energy paths have people on them. You will not be able to obtain the Heart of Desolation. It is not that easy to break through origin energy day and night. You will still need some luck. The white-haired old man said. Why do you still need luck? Old man, can't you finish your sentence in one go? Someone said impatiently. What's the rush? Isn't there still a lot of origin energy paths that have not been reached yet? The white-haired old man replied faintly, then slowly said, if you want to break through origin energy day and night, you will need everyone to work together. Everyone on the 81 origin energy paths has to work together and pour their divine energy into origin energy day and night to activate origin energy pillars. Only by activating 999 origin energy pillars can one break through origin energy day and night. So it's that simple. I'll go first. A middle-aged man took the lead and walked to the origin energy day and night. His palm faced the origin energy day and night, and surging divine energy continuously poured into the origin energy day and night. The origin energy day and night vibrated slightly, and then a certain part of it vibrated more and more violently. In the end, a 100-meter-long origin energy pillar flew out, like a long snake dancing in the air. Again, the middle-aged man roared and continued to pour in divine energy. The origin energy day and night vibrated, and then 2 more origin energy pillars flew out. There were a total of 3 origin chi pillars, but at this point, there was no 4th origin chi pillar. Come out! Come out! The middle-aged man roared and continued to pour in divine energy, but the origin energy day and night didn't move at all. So little? Only 3? Many people looked at each other. The middle-aged man was a 6th-level celestial god, but he could only stimulate 3 origin energy pillars. This made many people's hearts sink. In order to activate the origin energy day and night, 999 origin energy pillars were required, and there were only 81 of them. Based on this ratio, it was impossible to activate the origin energy day and night. The middle-aged man's face was red with shame. "I'll do it." Following that, a middle-aged woman stepped forward and inserted her god force into the morning and evening pillar. She was also a 6th-level celestial god, but even with all her might, she could only activate 3 morning and evening pillars. This made many people's faces turn even uglier. Following that, a 7th-level celestial god stepped forward, but his situation wasn't any better. He could only stimulate 5 origin energy pillars. Everyone looked at each other. Based on this ratio, even if all 81 of them stepped forward, they wouldn't be able to activate more than 300 origin energy pillars. It was impossible to activate the origin energy day and night. Sigh, as expected. From what I know, the number of origin energy pillars activated is related to one's cultivation, but it's more related to one's talent. The higher one's talent is, the more origin energy pillars they can activate. In the past, every time the Heart of Desolation appeared, people would gather in the Desolation mountain range. However, very few people were able to get it, because they couldn't open the vital energy day and night. Only after the news spread out, and the chosen from the various sects and clans joined forces, could they open the vital energy day and night. The white-haired old man from before sighed. "When the geniuses of the various factions arrive, we won't have a chance. No matter what, we have to give it a try. I'll do it next." An old woman stepped forward and poured her divine energy into the origin energy day and night, unwilling to give up. This old woman was the strongest, and she managed to stimulate 6 origin energy pillars, but it was still a drop in the bucket. The others were unwilling to give up either. They stepped forward and poured their divine energy into the origin energy day and night. Origin energy pillars flew out like dancing snakes. However, some of the 5th-level celestial gods managed to stimulate even fewer origin energy pillars. Some only had 2, while others only had 1. Not long after, 80 of the 81 people had made their moves. Only Lu Ming had yet to make his move. The 80 people only had 251 origin energy day and night. It was 748 origin energy day and night to reach 999. Chapter 2888. Everyone's expression turned ugly. Sigh, it's still not enough. Only 251, the difference is too big. The Heart of Desolation is not fated with us. I guess only the joint efforts of many geniuses can open the morning and evening pillar. Many people sighed. Some glanced at Lu Ming and directly ignored him. There was still Lu Ming who had not made a move, but the crowd no longer held any hope. Lu Ming was a true immortal realm cultivator. It was already a miracle that he could reach this point. It was already not bad if he could stimulate 1 morning and evening pillar. Even if Lu Ming was young and had good talent, there were still more than 700 morning and evening pillars. There was no hope. Forget it. Someone shook his head and withdrew his divine power, retreating a dozen steps. Following that, the others also shook their heads and withdrew their divine power. The morning and evening pillars also disappeared. However, no one left because they were unwilling to accept this result. This is interesting. I wonder how many morning and evening pillars I can stimulate if I go up? Lu Ming pondered in his heart, revealing a trace of interest, and then stepped forward. When Lu Ming moved, many people's gazes turned to Lu Ming. This kid still wants to go up. We all failed, but he still wants to go up. Is he stupid? But speaking of which, it's not easy for this kid to reach this point with his true immortal realm cultivation. He might be a genius. Even if he's a genius, how many morning and evening pillars can he stimulate? 10, 20, even if he can stimulate 100, it's useless. That's right. Guess how many morning and evening pillars this kid can stimulate? How many? This kid is so young and has such cultivation. He can still reach this point. His talent is definitely not weak. I'm guessing he can stimulate at least 10 morning and evening pillars. 10 maybe more. I'm guessing between 20 to 30. 20 to 30? That's too exaggerated. You have to know that we can only get 6 morning and evening pillars at most. Everyone discussed and began to guess how many morning and evening pillars Lu Ming could stimulate. As for Lu Ming, he had already walked to the morning and evening pillars. He stretched out a palm and placed it on the morning and evening pillars. His divine power slowly poured into the morning and evening pillars. The vital chi morning and evening suddenly vibrated violently. Then pillars of vital chi formed and danced in the air. 36 snakes. In the instant that Lu Ming poured in his divine power, Lu Ming activated 36 pillars of vital chi. So much? Everyone else was stunned. Just now, some people had guessed that Lu Ming could trigger between 20 to 30, but some people felt that they had guessed too much. It would be very difficult for Lu Ming to do so. Unexpectedly, Lu Ming had only attacked for an instant, and Lu Ming had already stimulated 36 origin chi pillars. However, this did not stop. Following that, the vital energy vibrations became even more intense, producing loud rumbling sounds like the waves of a vast ocean. Hua hua hua, more origin chi pillars shot out from the origin chi morning and evening. This time, there were 360 of them. In addition to the previous 36, there were a total of 396. The sound of people inhaling cold air could be heard. Everyone's eyes were about to explode, and they were tongue-tied. 396. Everyone looked at the 399 pillars of origin chi dancing in the air, thinking that they were dreaming. Heavens, a total of 396. How is this possible? How is this possible? How is he able to stimulate so many origin chi pillars? Unbelievable, a monster, a monster. This person is a peerless genius. If there were 3 of such people, they would be able to break through the origin chi morning and evening. Some people shouted in shock. The pillar of vitality that Lu Ming alone could activate was more than the pillar of vitality that the 80 of them could activate together. However, their shock was far from over. Dong dong dong, at this moment, Lu Ming's ancient god heart began to beat. Waves of ancient god aura poured into Lu Ming's palm and into the origin chi morning and evening. The origin chi morning and evening began to vibrate again. Following that, more origin chi pillars flew out. This time, more than 300 origin chi pillars were formed. In total, there were 700 origin chi pillars. There's more. The others were completely dumbfounded and stood there in a daze. 700 origin chi pillars, a total of 700 origin chi pillars. In history, the strongest genius could only stimulate more than 100 origin chi pillars, but Lu Ming had stimulated 700. How was this possible? How could there be such a strong genius in the world? The other 80 people thought that they had seen the world, but at this moment, they all felt that they were country bumpkins, people who had never seen the world before. 700 origin chi pillars, this should be the limit. The white-haired old man swallowed hard. His eyes were wide open, and his heart was thumping. However, in the next moment he almost fell to the ground. That was because the origin chi morning and evening had not stopped vibrating. Instead, it vibrated even more violently. Could it be that he can stimulate more origin chi pillars? Some people said in a hoarse voice. 700 origin chi pillars are not enough. Let's try the battle formula. Lu Ming's eyes flashed a ray of light, and then he began to activate the battle formula. Lu Ming's understanding of the battle formula was getting more and more profound. Now, the success rate of activating the battle formula to quadruple his combat strength had reached 50%. Lu Ming's body was filled with a strong fighting spirit, and a powerful force burst out from his body. Rumble! The origin chi morning and evening vibrated even more violently. Then, more origin chi pillars rushed out. This time, hundreds of origin chi pillars rushed out, and the sky was filled with origin chi pillars. The number of origin chi pillars reached a total of 999. The number of origin chi pillars needed to activate the origin chi morning and evening was 999. Oh my god, he alone activated 999 origin chi pillars. This is too shocking. Unbelievable. Everyone at the scene was almost scared to death. At this moment, the origin chi morning and evening vibrated violently, rolling up waves of origin chi that filled the sky. There was a terrifying explosion, and cracks appeared on the origin chi morning and evening. It's going to open. The origin chi morning and evening is going to open. The heart of desolation is going to be born. Many people shouted, and their eyes were burning with passion. This time, it was really out of everyone's expectations. They originally thought that it was impossible to open the origin chi morning and that they would have to wait for the news to spread out, and the geniuses of the major forces in Qin Tian Star Field would gather to open it. They never thought that it would open now. The heart of desolation is destined to be mine. A 7th-level heavenly god expert roared in his heart, and his eyes were burning with passion. Although Lu Ming had activated 999 primordial chi pillars, in his opinion, Lu Ming was only talented. Lu Ming's cultivation level and combat strength were nothing in his eyes. Chapter 2889. In fact, it wasn't just this 7th-layer heavenly god who thought so, the others thought so too. They had to admit that Lu Ming's talent was unparalleled. It was simply unheard of. However, Lu Ming's cultivation was only at the true god realm after all. Talent didn't mean strength, so they didn't take him seriously at all. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the heart of desolation, waiting for the moment when the heart of desolation would collapse. Boom! Finally, the heart of desolation exploded with a loud bang, turning into endless chi and dissipating in the air. The heart of desolation is mine. A 7th-layer heavenly god expert roared and pounced at the heart of desolation. Get lost. The heart of desolation is mine. Kill. The others roared and pounced at the heart of desolation with bloodshot eyes. Those who could make it this far were at least 5th-layer heavenly gods with shocking fighting strength. A total of 80 people pounced at the heart of desolation. A chaotic battle began. Boom, boom, boom. Everyone fought fiercely. All 80 people wanted to get the heart of desolation. Once someone got close to the heart of desolation, they would be surrounded and attacked by the others. As soon as the battle began, some people fell and were killed here. A few screams were heard as a few 5th-layer heavenly gods were killed. However, no one retreated. They continued to attack the heart of desolation. The heart of desolation was something that even divine kings would be tempted to fight for. One could imagine how valuable it was. How could an ordinary cultivator resist such a temptation? Everyone ignored Lu Ming. No one thought that Lu Ming was a threat. Lu Ming stood at the side with a smile. He withdrew his divine force and didn't make a move. He wanted to reap the benefits while the tigers fought. The battle became more and more intense. Some of the weaker cultivators were killed one after another. Finally, some of them were scared. They retreated out of the battlefield with fear on their faces. Only some 6th-layer and 7th-layer heavenly gods were left fighting and competing. However, no one could get close to the heart of desolation. This battle lasted for half a day, but no one had obtained the heart of desolation. In the end, the fighting stopped. The most powerful group of experts stopped at the 4 sides of the heart of chaos, facing each other, breathing heavily. It was clear that the consumption was extremely severe. After this battle, of the original 80 people, only 40 or so remained. Nearly half of them had died here. The remaining people faced each other and stared at each other. For a moment, no one dared to make the first move. They all knew that whoever made the first move would be besieged by the others. No one could guarantee that they would be able to escape unscathed under the siege of others. It's about time. At this moment, Lu Ming muttered. Then he stepped forward. Step by step, he walked towards the heart of desolation. What is this brat trying to do? Many people's eyes were focused on Lu Ming. Some of them had cold, murderous intent in their eyes. Could it be that this kid is trying to claim the heart of chaos? You're courting death. Cold light flashed in the eyes of some people. Brat, stop. Someone shouted. However, Lu Ming did not stop. He continued to walk forward, not bothering to pay attention to that person. "Brat, you're courting death." That person roared and slashed at Lu Ming with his saber. This person was a 6th-level heavenly god. However, he was already injured in the battle just now. Moreover, his divine power was severely depleted. His combat strength had weakened a lot. He was even weaker than a 5th-level heavenly god. "Get lost." Lu Ming shouted and attacked with all his might. His spear lashed out at that person. Boom! The two of them clashed, causing a loud explosion. Lu Ming's figure only swayed a little while the other party's body shook violently and retreated continuously. "This brat?" Many people's eyes narrowed, revealing a look of surprise. Lu Ming's combat strength had exceeded their expectations. Although that person's combat strength had weakened a lot, it was still not to be underestimated. Lu Ming was only a true God Realm cultivator, but he could actually force such an expert to retreat. No wonder he could reach here. Many people had such a thought in their minds. After Lu Ming forced that person back, he continued to rush toward the heart of desolation. "Brat, you have some strength, but it's still not enough." An old woman shouted coldly. She stretched out her withered hand and clawed at Lu Ming. A withered claw rapidly enlarged, emitting a disgusting smell, and grabbed at Lu Ming. This old woman was a 7th-level heavenly god. Previously, she had activated 6 pillars of vitality. Her strength was extremely shocking. Even though her divine power was severely depleted, once she attacked, her strength was extremely terrifying. However, Lu Ming was not afraid at all. Ancient God Body. Lu Ming's heart stirred as he unleashed the ancient god tactic. His body expanded rapidly. This time, Lu Ming did not hold back. He used his full strength. He turned into a 200-meter-tall green-armored ancient god and let out an ancient god roar. With a loud roar, Lu Ming stabbed out with his spear. The withered old woman's palm was directly pierced by Lu Ming. The old woman let out a sharp scream and stretched her hand back. Her face was pale and blood flowed from her palm. The others were shocked. The old woman's strength was extremely terrifying. Although she had consumed some of her energy, it was still very terrifying. She was actually injured by Lu Ming's spear. A true God Realm person's combat strength was actually so terrifying. After repelling the old woman, Lu Ming's figure flashed and rushed toward the heart of desolation. He wants to take the heart of desolation. "Let's attack together and kill this person." The old woman shouted. A powerful aura erupted from her body as she attacked Lu Ming. At the same time, the other experts also attacked Lu Ming. There were more than a dozen 7th-level heavenly gods and many 6th-level heavenly gods. With so many people attacking together, the power was shocking. "Courting death." Lu Ming shouted coldly. A layer of crimson gold armor appeared on his huge body. Then, 9 ice chains flew out and surrounded him. Lu Ming first set up layers of defense, then attacked the old woman. Boom! Lu Ming stabbed out with his spear. A spear light pierced toward the old woman. Lu Ming was now able to suppress the Paragon Saint with his full strength. Although the Paragon Saint's cultivation was only 6th-level heavenly god, his combat strength was strong enough to kill a 7th-level heavenly god. He was probably stronger than the old woman. And Lu Ming could suppress the Paragon Saint. Naturally, dealing with the old woman was not a problem. Moreover, the old woman's divine energy was severely depleted. The spear light directly shattered the old woman's attack. The old woman screamed and spat out a large mouthful of blood. She quickly retreated. At this moment, the others' attacks also landed on Lu Ming's body. The 9 ice chains and the crimson gold armor shook a few times before exploding. Then, they landed on Lu Ming's green scales. However, the green scales' defense was shocking. They successfully blocked the others' attacks. Chapter 2890. The green scales on the ancient god body had incredible defensive power. Although the experts had destroyed Lu Ming's ice chains and 9 layers scarlet gold armor, they hadn't been able to break through the green scales. Although some of the scales had broken and blood had seeped out of his body, Lu Ming had still managed to block them. Lu Ming had a rough idea of his own defensive power. Kill! Lu Ming roared, no longer caring about his own defense. He brandished his spear and attacked the old woman. The old woman had already been heavily injured by Lu Ming and didn't have the strength to fight back. She frantically retreated, screaming, "Save me! Save me!" However, Lu Ming had forcefully endured the attacks of the others. It was too late for the others to save her. Bang! The spear stabbed out, and a huge spear light crushed the old woman. In front of the spear light, the old woman's body was as small as an ant. She directly exploded, turning into ashes. A 7th-level celestial god expert was killed by Lu Ming just like that. After killing the old woman, Lu Ming's spear changed direction, and he attacked the others. While attacking the others, Lu Ming's body constantly flashed with all kinds of light. 9 layers scarlet gold armor, ice chains, and even 3 divine dragon manifestations. Lu Ming didn't use these divine skills and secret arts to attack, but to defend. Boom, boom, boom. One attack after another landed on Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body shook, and the ice chains, 9 layers scarlet gold armor, and divine dragon manifestations all collapsed. However, the power of the attacks that landed on Lu Ming's body was much weaker. They were all blocked by Lu Ming. Lu Ming seemed to be dripping with blood, but his vital organs were not injured. Lu Ming blocked the attacks of the others, but the others couldn't block Lu Ming's attacks. Lu Ming specifically targeted a 7th-level heavenly god and launched a fierce attack. Soon, this person followed in the footsteps of the old woman and was killed by Lu Ming. After killing 2 7th-level heavenly gods consecutively, the others were finally a little scared. Their eyes were filled with fear. Some of them even slowed down their attacks, planning to flee the moment something went wrong. As for Lu Ming, the more he fought, the more courageous he became. His battle intent soared to the heavens, and a terrifying spear light constantly pierced and swept out. Not long after, another 2 people were killed. Not good. Retreat. Some people were terrified. When they saw Lu Ming charging over, they didn't dare to fight back. They retreated continuously, afraid that they would be targeted by Lu Ming. Lu Ming didn't chase after them. His figure flickered as he rushed towards the Heart of Desolation. When he got close to the Heart of Desolation, no one dared to compete with him. Lu Ming grabbed the Heart of Desolation and put it into his spatial ring. Damn it. Damn it, my Heart of Desolation. Many people roared in their hearts as they watched Lu Ming take the Heart of Desolation. They were envious to death, but no one dared to stop him. Lu Ming's combat strength was too strong. The main thing was that his defense was too abnormal. They couldn't break through Lu Ming's defense, so they couldn't deal a fatal blow to Lu Ming. If it was someone else with similar offensive strength as Lu Ming, but without such a strong defense, they definitely wouldn't be a match for so many of them. They would have been killed by their combined attacks. Unfortunately, after Lu Ming transformed into his ancient god body, his defense was too abnormal. It was enough to block their attacks and then chase after one of them. This terrified them. The Heart of Desolation is finally mine. Lu Ming's lips curled into a faint smile, and then he rushed in the direction he came from. Wherever Lu Ming went, no one stopped him. Although the Heart of Desolation was precious, it was far inferior to one's own life. Lu Ming left this place unimpeded and arrived outside. Outside, many people swept their gazes toward Lu Ming, looking suspicious. You came out? What's the situation inside? Did anyone get the Heart of Desolation? You seem to be heavily injured. You must have been seriously injured and withdrawn from the competition, right? Many people saw that Lu Ming was the first one to come out, and immediately asked all at once. Yes, they were competing for the Heart of Desolation. There was a huge battle going on inside. My cultivation was too weak, so I couldn't defeat them. I was lucky to survive. Lu Ming said. Everyone nodded, believing that Lu Ming was telling the truth. No one doubted that Lu Ming had obtained the Heart of Desolation. Therefore, no one doubted Lu Ming. Lu Ming left this place unimpeded and headed out of the Desolation mountain range. Lu Ming, your luck is really good. You didn't get the Desolation grass, but you actually got the Heart of Desolation. If you use the Heart of Desolation to refine an array disk, its power will be even more shocking. At that time, you will have a greater chance of defeating the Dragon Mountain. In Lu Ming's Sea of Consciousness, Gu Mo laughed heartily, lamenting Lu Ming's luck. Lu Ming was also quite happy. Now, he had found all the things that Gu Mo said. Now, he could return to the Kongxian school and refine the array disk. The Dragon Mountain wanted to sacrifice him to break the Rising Dragon formation, but it wasn't that easy. Not long after, Lu Ming left the Desolation Mountain range. After spending some time, he returned to the Kongxian school. After returning to the Kongxian school, Lu Ming found Ouyang Qingxiang. Lu Ming, you want to see my grandfather? Ouyang Qingxiang asked in surprise. Yes, I have something to ask Senior Yu for help. Lu Ming nodded. The array disk that Gu Mo mentioned was incomparably mysterious. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, it was impossible for him to refine it. If he wanted to fully refine it and display its power, only a divine king could do it. However, it was easier said than done to ask a divine king for help. Therefore, Lu Ming immediately thought of Ouyang Qingxiang's grandfather, Wuxia. Lu Ming had helped Ouyang Qingxiang obtain the position of Zongzi of the Kongxian school. Wuxia had no reason to reject Lu Ming. Asking my grandfather for help is a small matter. Come with me. Ouyang Qingxiang nodded and led Lu Ming to Wuxia's cultivation area. When they arrived at Wuxia's cultivation area, Lu Ming waited outside while Ouyang Qingxiang went in to look for Wuxia. Not long after, Ouyang Qingxiang came out with a smile on her face and said, Lu Ming, my grandfather just came out of seclusion. I'll bring you to see him. Lu Ming nodded and followed Ouyang Qingxiang to a large hall to see Wuxia. Junior Lu Ming greets Senior Yu. Lu Ming cupped his fists and bowed. After all, Wuxia was a divine king expert, a top expert of the Qin Tian star field. Lu Ming, no need to be so polite. Sit. Wuxia smiled and invited Lu Ming to take a seat. Lu Ming had helped Ouyang Qingxiang obtain the position of Zongzi. Wuxia's impression of Lu Ming was extremely good. The more he looked at Lu Ming, the more pleasing he was to the eye. He was even thinking of how to matchmake Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang. This way, Ouyang Qingxiang's position in the Kongxian school would be as stable as Mount Tai. Therefore, he was very polite to Lu Ming. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang sat down and someone came to brew tea. Chapter 2891. Wuxia picked up the teacup and took a sip. His gaze fell on Lu Ming again as he asked, I heard from Qingxiang that you have something you need my help with? Yes, Senior. I want to refine a kind of array disk, but my cultivation is too low and I can't refine it. Only a divine king expert can refine it, so I thought of you, Senior. Lu Ming did not hide and directly told him his purpose. What array disk? It needs a divine king to refine it? Wuxia was also interested. Senior, please take a look. Lu Ming took out a jade talisman and waved his hand. The jade talisman flew to Wuxia. Wuxia caught it in his hand and scanned it with his spiritual consciousness, reading the contents of the jade talisman. After a while, Wuxia revealed a look of surprise and said, What a mysterious array disk. The refining method of such an array disk is really unheard of. Amazing, amazing. No wonder you can't refine it with your cultivation. Haha, don't you know who gave the array disk? How can the array disk given by me be bad? Bone Demon's smug voice sounded. Senior, this is something I found by chance when exploring a ruin. May I ask if you can refine it? Lu Ming asked. I can refine it, but some of the materials needed to refine this array disk are rather rare. Even I can't gather them in a short time. Wuxia said. Senior, the materials are not a problem. I've already gathered them. After Lu Ming finished speaking, he took out the materials needed to refine the array disk one by one. The Heart of Desolation. Lu Ming, you actually have the Heart of Desolation? When he saw Lu Ming take out the Heart of Desolation, Wuxia was shocked. Lu Ming's weight in his heart increased a little. This junior was lucky enough to obtain it. Lu Ming said humbly. Wuxia smiled, knowing that Lu Ming was being modest. If he was lucky enough to obtain it, then why couldn't others obtain it? Lu Ming, since the materials have been prepared, this old man can begin the refinement. However, it will take a few months to complete the refinement. Once the refinement is complete, I will send someone to inform you. Wuxia said. Thank you, Senior. Junior has another request. I hope that Senior won't tell anyone else about this disarray, especially other god kings. Lu Ming said. If news of the disarray were to spread to Dragon Zhoushan, or if Dragon Zhoushan were to see it, it would definitely raise the guard of Dragon Zhoushan. Wuxia glanced at Lu Ming in surprise. He did not understand why Lu Ming did not dare to let the other god kings know. However, he did not ask any further. He nodded and said, Don't worry, I will definitely not let a second person know. Thank you, Senior. Lu Ming cupped his fists in thanks and then left with Ouyang Qingxiang. He would be able to refine it in a few months. There was enough time. Long Haoshan had given Lu Ming 10 years of time. Returning to his residence, Lu Ming cultivated in peace. In a blink of an eye, several months passed. Wuxia had already finished refining the disarray and had Ouyang Qingxiang bring it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief, feeling much more confident. Cultivating like this is too slow. It's impossible to break through to the heavenly god realm in 10 years. On this day, Lu Ming ended his cultivation and pondered with a frown on his face. There was a huge chasm between the peak 9th level true god realm and the heavenly god realm. It was too difficult to break through. 99% of people were forever stuck at the peak true god realm, unable to break through. Only those with outstanding talent could break through after a long period of accumulation or some fortuitous encounter. Therefore, those who could break through to the heavenly god realm were mostly geniuses with king-grade divine force. The higher the grade of divine force, the easier it was to break through. Those with ordinary divine force would find it difficult to break through to the heavenly god realm. Of course, it wasn't absolute. There were those with ordinary divine force who broke through to the heavenly god realm, but those were the minority. However, no matter how high the grade of divine force they controlled was, it was very difficult for them to break through to the heavenly god realm in 10 years after breaking through to the peak 9th level true god realm. Lu Ming frowned. He didn't doubt that if he couldn't break through to the heavenly god realm in 10 years, Long Haoshan would really make a move on him. Lu Ming was still thinking about what method he could find to let his cultivation break through quickly. At this time, Lu Ming's heart shook. He felt that someone was coming from outside the courtyard. Lu Ming walked out of the courtyard and saw a white-haired old man standing in the air. Holy Son Lu Ming! The white-haired old man smiled and nodded in greeting. Elder Lu, why are you looking for me? Lu Ming asked. Lu Ming recognized this white-haired old man. He was an inner sect elder. The sect master has ordered to gather all the holy sons and holy daughters. He has a mission for you. Elder Lu said. A mission? And all the holy sons and holy daughters? What mission is it? Lu Ming asked curiously. To be honest, I also don't know. I'm only in charge of passing on the message. Holy Son Lu Ming, follow me. Later, a grand elder will tell you. Elder Lu said courteously. Then, Lu Ming followed Elder Lu into the depths of the inner sect. Soon, the two of them arrived at the peak of a mountain. Everyone's here. Lu Ming swept his gaze across and discovered that the Paragon Saint, Saint Son of Floating Light, Saint Son of Flaming Sky, Saint Son of Jixia, Ouyang Qingxiang, and Saintess Shuatun were all present at the peak of the mountain. Seeing Lu Ming arrive, everyone's gaze fell on Lu Ming, especially the Supreme Holy Son. A cold light flashed in his eyes, revealing a wisp of killing intent. But it was only a flash before he hit it. However, Lu Ming's spiritual perception was extremely sharp. He clearly caught it. You want to kill me? You better not give me the chance. A wisp of killing intent also flashed in Lu Ming's heart. Clearly, the Supreme Holy Son had lost to Lu Ming last time and harbored a grudge against Lu Ming. He wanted to kill Lu Ming. If there was a chance, Lu Ming wouldn't be lenient towards such a person. He would find a chance to get rid of him. His gaze swept past the Supreme Holy Son, Fuko Seiko, and the others before landing on the old man at the front. Senior Elder. Lu Ming's heart shook. From this old man's clothes, Lu Ming knew he was a senior elder of the Kongxian School's Senior Elder Hall. He was in existence at the Divine King realm. Elder Lu landed in front of Senior Elder Hall and respectfully bowed. Senior Elder Hall, Holy Son Lu Ming has arrived. All right, you can leave, said Senior Elder Lu indifferently. Then Elder Lu respectfully left. Only Lu Ming, the Holy Sons, and Senior Elder Hall were left on the mountain peak. You must be very curious as to what mission I've gathered you for this time, right? Said Senior Elder Hall with a faint smile. That's right. Senior Elder Fan, may I know why you've gathered us all together? The Paragon Saint was the first to ask. There is indeed a major matter that requires you all to work together. The location is in Darklight Galaxy. As for the specifics, there's no need to rush. Come with me. Once we reach Darklight Galaxy, I'll naturally tell you. Let's go. After Senior Elder Fan finished speaking, he walked in the direction of the transportation formation. Everyone could only follow Grand Elder Fan into the teleportation array with their doubts. Chapter 2892. Dim Light Star River was an extremely remote star river in the Qintian star field. It was even more remote than the chaotic star river. That was because there were very few living beings in this star river. Cultivators were even rarer, and those who had become gods were few and far between. Therefore, very few people would come here. Every major force would symbolically set up a teleportation point in Dim Ice Star River and send a few people to guard it. Through the teleportation array, Lu Ming's group arrived at the teleportation point. Then, with a wave of Grand Elder Fan's hand, a surge of divine force shrouded them and brought them into the starry sky. Their speed was extremely fast. What astonishing speed! Lu Ming looked at the stars flying past one after another and exclaimed in his heart. The speed of a God King expert was too fast. Shuttling through the starry sky was even faster than most of the space battleships. In fact, after reaching the God King realm, there was almost no need for space battleships. Unless it was a rare and astonishingly high-grade space battleship, the average space battleship's speed wouldn't be comparable to a God King's flying speed. Half a day later, in the starry sky ahead, a dazzling radiance suddenly shone. Rings of radiance appeared in the starry sky ahead. They were extremely dazzling, even brighter than the stars, illuminating the starry sky. Lu Ming's group came to a halt. That is, everyone looked in front of them in shock. Because those rings of radiance were too big. They were many times bigger than a life planet. This is our target for this trip. There's a star system in front of us. Grand Elder Fan explained. Everyone looked over and saw that there was indeed a star system in front of them. The core of this star system was a star. However, this star's radiance was extremely dim, as if it would extinguish at any moment. Around this star, there were about a dozen planets revolving around it. Those rings of radiance were emitted from this star system. One could imagine how big it was. Boom, boom. At this moment, terrifying rumbles erupted from the periphery of the star system. Dazzling divine light illuminated the starry sky. The terrifying explosion shook the entire star system. There are experts attacking that star system, Ouyang Qingxiang exclaimed. That's right. There are indeed experts attacking this star system. They are the sect masters of the Qin Tian 13 sects and some God King Grand Elders. Grand Elder Fan explained. Lu Ming and the others were even more surprised. The patriarchs of the Qin Tian 13 sects had arrived. There were also some Divine King Eminent Elders who were besieging this galaxy. What was in this galaxy? Let me tell you, this entire galaxy has been set up with a great formation. Those rings of light are the light of the Great Formation. Even the sect masters of the Qin Tian 13 sects and the Divine King experts could not break through it. Grand Elder Fan explained. Set up the formation with the stars. Lu Ming and the others were dumbfounded. Just how big was a galaxy? Someone had actually laid down a formation over the entire galaxy. Just how terrifying was that? It was truly astonishing. Grand Elder Fan, what exactly is inside this great array? It actually drew over the 13 Sky Pillar sects. Besides that, what does this have to do with us? The Paragon Saint asked. The patriarchs of the Qin Tian 13 sects and some god king doyens were here. What did that have to do with them? With their cultivation, there was no way they could interfere at all. Don't be anxious. This matter needs to be explained from the beginning. Grand Elder Fan then explained the ins and outs of the matter in detail. Usually, no one would pay attention to the dim light galaxy, and almost no one would come here. But a few months ago, someone had accidentally discovered that this galaxy was extremely strange. After some investigation, they discovered that this galaxy had actually been set up with a great formation. This kind of great formation quickly alarmed the upper echelons of the Qin Tian 13 sects. The Qin Tian 13 sects immediately sent experts who were proficient in formations to study it. In the end, they came up with a shocking conclusion. In the distant past, someone had set up a great formation over the entire galaxy with a star as the core. Their goal was to refine a star core. To refine an entire star into a star core. When this news came out, it shocked most of the God King experts of the Qin Tian 13 sects. That was because once a cultivator reached the God King realm, they would have to refine a star core. When a heavenly god broke through to the God King realm, the divine flame in their body would turn into a star core. A star core was the core of a star. It condensed boundless power. However, a God King star core was extremely weak and small. It couldn't be compared to a star's star core. Someone actually wanted to refine an entire star into a star core. A star core refined from an entire star was definitely a priceless treasure. If a God King could obtain it, his cultivation base would definitely soar. Furthermore, a formation grandmaster had already come up with the conclusion that this great formation had been set up for a very long time. The star had practically been refined, so the star core had already been successfully refined. It would be strange if those God Kings weren't moved. If they obtained the star core, their cultivation bases would soar and they would be able to suppress other God Kings and dominate the Qin Tian starfield. That was why the sect masters of the Qin Tian 13 sects and many other God Kings had come to fight for the star core. However, they had been blocked by the galaxy's great formation. After a few months of attacks, many experts had been unable to break through the great formation and enter the galaxy. Through the research of many formation grandmasters, they had come up with the conclusion that only the younger generation's geniuses could enter this galaxy. That was because the great formation had been specially set up. When one's age exceeded a certain limit, it was impossible to enter. That was why they had gathered all of them. It's not just us from the Kongxian school. The top geniuses from the other forces have also been gathered. However, the various sect masters and God Kings are still unwilling to give up. They want to make one last attempt to see if they can break through this great formation. Grand Elder Fan explained. Lu Ming and the rest were enlightened. They finally knew what had happened. Ahead of them were the various sect masters and God King realm Grand Elders' final attempt to break through the formation. If they still couldn't break through, they would probably have to send their younger generation's geniuses. It was no wonder that all the saints and saintesses had been gathered. It was because they might have to compete with the top geniuses from the other forces, or even the top 3 overlord forces. Boom, boom. In the starry sky ahead, the rumbling sounds were still incessant as dazzling lights flashed. All of you follow me. Grand Elder Fan led Lu Ming and the rest forward. Swoosh, swoosh. At that moment, streams of light flew over from other directions. Lu Ming and the rest looked around and saw that every stream of light was a figure. There was a God King realm expert leading a group of young people. Obviously, these were the experts from the other forces who had brought their young geniuses over. After flying for a while, they stopped not far away from the galaxy. Chapter 2893. Other than Lu Ming and the others, there were other people in this area. There were a total of 13 batches, and each batch had some young people. The prodigies of the Qin Tian 13 sects had all arrived. Among them, the 3 overlord forces, the Mystic Academy, the Invincible Kenzo, and the Immeasurable Sacred Ground, had the most people. Each of them had a strong aura, and their eyes were filled with powerful auras. It was obvious that they were all experts, and each of them was a saint. However, There were some sects that were much more shabby. Although they had a lot of people, and some sects even had more people than the Profound Sky sect, there were very few Holy Sun level characters. Some powers only had 1 or 2 Holy Sun level characters, while the others weren't Holy Sun level characters at all. They were far inferior to Holy Sun level characters. The prodigies of the Qin Tian 13 sects were sizing each other up. Ji Qianquan, I heard that you were defeated in the Kongxian School's Zongzi competition. Ha, you're really a piece of trash. At this moment, a loud laugh was heard. It came from the Mystic Academy. Lu Ming and the rest looked in the direction of the voice. Someone from the multi-eyed race. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The person who had spoken just now had 4 eyes on his face. There were 2 eyes on each side, and all 4 eyes were shining with a cold light. This was the multi-eyed race, also known as the 4-eyed race. Like the 3-eyed race, they belonged to the multi-eyed race. 4-eyed emptiness, what did you say? The Paragon Saint's face was extremely cold as he stared at this person. This person's name was 4-eyed emptiness. What? Did I say something wrong? I heard that you were defeated by a new disciple of the Kongxian school. If you're not a piece of trash, then what are you? To think that you used to be as famous as me. How disgusting. 4-eyed emptiness sneered, his face full of disdain. Huh, 4-eyed emptiness, you're right. Ji Qianquan, you're really a piece of trash. Someone from the invincible Kenzo and the immeasurable sacred ground sneered disdainfully. This made the Paragon Saint's face turn even uglier. Lu Ming. The Paragon Saint roared in his heart. This was a great humiliation to him, and he blamed this humiliation on Lu Ming. It was all Lu Ming's fault. If it weren't for Lu Ming, he wouldn't have suffered such humiliation. Lu Ming, there are some people in the 3 major forces that you have to pay attention to. That 4-eyed Empyrean is someone who is as famous as the Sovereign Holy Sun. He is extremely talented and has great combat strength. I'm afraid he is even stronger than the Sovereign Holy Sun. Ouyang Qingxiang transmitted her voice to Lu Ming. There's also the invincible Kenzo in the immeasurable sacred ground. Each and every one of them is extremely terrifying. Ouyang Qingxiang continued to transmit her voice to Lu Ming. The pressure that this person gave off wasn't any weaker than Sword Dao Wuji or Mo Jiaoyi. He was also a terrifying genius. Lu Ming memorized the names of these 3 people. There were many prodigies from the Qin Tian 13 sects, but only these 3 people made Lu Ming feel threatened. He didn't care about the others. Boom, boom. Just as everyone was sizing each other up, the explosions in front of them became even more intense. Rings of dazzling light could be seen flickering around the galaxy, blocking the terrifying attacks. After a while, those attacks stopped. Then, rays of light began to fly over. The sect masters of the Qin Tian 13 sects and the other Divine King experts had finished breaking the formation and returned. In the next moment, 5 figures appeared in front of Lu Ming and the others. The person in the lead was the Kongxian School's sect master, Dragon Zhoushan. The other 4 were the founding elders of the Kongxian School, and they were all Divine King experts. Dragon Zhoushan and the other 4's auras were a little unstable. It was obvious that breaking the formation had consumed a lot of energy. Sect Master, how is it? Still can't break it? Founding Elder Fan asked. It can't be broken. Dragon Zhoushan shook his head, and then his gaze fell on Lu Ming and the others. It's up to you now. Don't worry, Sect Master. I'll do my best to help you get the Stellar Core. The Supreme Saint hurriedly said. Dragon Zhoushan waved his hand and said, There's no need for you to get the Stellar Core. With your cultivation, you won't be able to get the Stellar Core. According to the predictions of the Array Masters, there are some array plates in this galaxy. Chapter 2894. That's right. The person who set up the array did not completely seal off Lu Ming. When he set up the array, there was still a possibility, and that was the array plate. According to the speculation of a few array masters, there should be 12 array plates in the galaxy. As long as we have the array plates, we can enter the galaxy unimpeded and obtain the star core. Therefore, your mission this time is to enter the galaxy and find the array plates. At least, you must obtain one. Long Zhoushan said. Don't worry, sect leader. I will do my best. Even if I have to risk my life, I will obtain one of the array plates. The Supreme Holy Sun was the first to speak again. The mission this time isn't going to be easy. The other factions have sent out all their geniuses. Therefore, the mission I'm giving you is a formation badge, at least one. Of course, the more the better. Also, those array plates are scattered on different planets in the galaxy. It won't be that easy to find them. Long Zhoushan said. Lu Ming and the others were silent as they began to ponder. It seems that the star core is very important to Long Haoshan. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. However, although entering that galaxy this time will be dangerous for you, it will also be an opportunity. Countless years ago, an almighty set up a formation here to refine a star into a star core. Now that the star core has been formed, some other treasures will also appear in the galaxy. For example, some extremely precious materials for refining weapons. Maybe even fragments of the star core will appear. Long Zhoushan said. Star core fragments? Lu Ming, the Supreme Holy Sun, Ouyang Qingxiang, and the others' eyes lit up. That's right. Star core fragments. After all, they are refining the star into a star core. It is very likely that some star core fragments will appear during the refining process. If you can obtain the star core fragments, it will be a great opportunity for you. Long Zhoushan said. This made Lu Ming and the others even more excited. Lu Ming, this is also a great opportunity for you. If you can get some star core fragments, you will have a great chance to break through to the celestial god realm. You have to seize this opportunity. You only have 10 years. Don't say I didn't give you a chance. Long Haoshan's cold voice sounded in Lu Ming's ears. A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes, but he didn't say anything. Long Zhoushan did not have good intentions when he reminded Lu Ming. He wanted Lu Ming to break through to the heavenly god realms so that he could use him to break through the rising dragon formation. Of course, Lu Ming was also very interested in the stellar core fragment. He also intended to use the stellar core fragment to break through to the heavenly god realm. In this contest with the Dragon Mountain, the higher the cultivation, the better. If any of you can obtain the array plate, I will reward you handsomely. Alright, follow me. After Long Zhoushan finished his last sentence, he turned around and headed towards the star system. Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang, the Paragon Saint, and the others followed. In another direction, the other prodigies of the Qin Heavenly 13 sects also arrived at the edge of the star system under the lead of their respective sect masters. The mission I gave you is to obtain at least 3 of the 12 array plates. Do you understand? The Dean of the Mystic Academy warned the prodigies of the Mystic Academy. He didn't hide his voice and it spread far and wide, allowing everyone to hear him. Dean, don't worry. We will definitely obtain at least 3 of the 12 array plates. No problem. The prodigies of the Mystic Academy spoke one after another. They were all very confident. The Mystic Academy sure is confident. However, I am the invincible Kenzo. I need at least 3 array plates. Are you confident? The invincible Kenzo sect master sneered and asked the prodigies of the invincible Kenzo. 3 array plates. We must obtain them. The prodigies of the invincible Kenzo roared with confidence. On the other side, the prodigies of the immeasurable sacred ground roared as well. Their goal was also to obtain at least 3 array plates. There were a total of 12 array plates. The 3 overlords were all very confident that they would obtain at least 3 array plates. This made the prodigies of the top 10 sects look solemn. They didn't say anything. Their appetite wasn't that big. Their goal was only 1 array plate. As long as they could obtain 1 array plate, they would be satisfied. All right, you can all depart now. The Dean of the Mystic Academy waved his hand. The prodigies of the Mystic Academy responded and flew toward the star system in front of them. There were a total of 18 planets in the star system in front of them. There might be array plates on all 18 planets. Therefore, they could only rely on their luck to choose a star and fly toward it. However, they could only choose the outermost planet to fly toward it first. They would start their search from the outermost planets. The prodigies of the Mystic Academy chose a black planet and flew toward it. Then, the invincible Kenzo and the immeasurable sacred ground each chose a planet and flew toward it. In this way, the three overlords each occupied one of the outermost planets. You all should depart as well. Long Zhoushan instructed Lu Ming and the others. Let's go to that planet first. Ouyang Qingxiang pointed at a blue planet. That planet wasn't the one the three overlords had chosen to enter. The others didn't have any objections. They all moved and flew toward that planet. The prodigies of the other sects also chose a planet and flew toward it. Some sects chose to fly toward the same planet. After all, the surface area of a planet was very large. Even if they landed on the same planet, they might not encounter each other. Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang, and the others flew into the star system's range. They didn't find anything strange. Originally, the God Kings would have been blocked by the star system's array when they reached this distance. However, Lu Ming and the others didn't find anything strange. It's really effective. Many God Kings' eyes lit up. Seeing nothing strange, Lu Ming and the others increased their speed. They flew toward that blue planet like streaks of light. As they got closer, the planet grew larger and larger in front of them. At the same time, they felt a powerful gravitational force on them. What a powerful gravitational force! Everyone's expression changed slightly. They felt that this planet's gravitational force was shockingly strong. Furthermore, the closer they got to the planet, the more terrifying the gravitational force became. In the end, when they were several tens of thousands of meters above the star system, the gravitational force was shockingly strong. They had to constantly circulate their divine energy to resist that gravitational force. Let's go down. Ouyang Qingxiang took the lead and flew down. The others followed one after another and landed on the ground. Bang, bang. In the end, they landed heavily on the ground, creating a huge crater. What a hard ground. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. They were very surprised. Chapter 2895. They realized that the planet's ground was extremely hard, like metal. It was not like ordinary rocks at all. This place is shrouded by a formation all year round. That formation can refine a star into a star core, so the planets around the star are also affected. They are much smaller than other planets, but their density is also many times higher. The density of the objects on this planet is also many times higher. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Lu Ming and the rest nodded. They had also thought of this. In such an environment, this planet was naturally dead silent. There were no living creatures. Everywhere they looked, there were bare rocks that emitted a metallic luster. Moreover, these rocks were fiery red, like pieces of rubies. Of course, if these rocks were placed in the mortal world, they would be treasures. But to Lu Ming and the rest, they were useless. Although this planet is much smaller than the planets outside, it's still shockingly large. I think it's better for us to split up. It'll be easier to find the formation plate that way. At this moment, the Paragon Saint said coldly. That's right, I think so too. Paragon Saint, let's work together. Fuko Seiko also said. Good, that's exactly what I want. The Paragon Saint smiled. Sush, sush. In a flash, Fuko Seiko, Saint Jixia, Saint Yen Kong, and Saintess Shuatan appeared beside the Paragon Saint. Their intentions were self-evident. Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang, let's compete and see who can get the formation plate. The Paragon Saint sneered. Then he led Fuko Seiko and the rest away quickly. Lu Ming did not stop or say anything. The Paragon Saint's departure was exactly what Lu Ming wanted. Lu Ming could not be bothered to move together with the Paragon Saint. Even if they did not leave on their own accord, he would find a reason to. Only Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang were left at the scene. The two of them discussed for a while, then randomly chose a direction and ran along the ground. The ground here was made of fiery red rocks. Some of them had already crystallized and were incomparably hard. Not even a blade of grass grew. The two of them ran for tens of thousands of li, but the situation was still the same. They didn't find anything. The two of them had no choice but to continue forward. They had no idea where the array plate was, so they could only try their luck in the dark. Just like that, a few hours passed, but there was still no result. There's something on the ground. At this time, Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He felt a slight vibration coming from beneath the ground. Bang! Just as Lu Ming's voice fell, the rocks on the ground exploded. Then, a fiery red light rushed towards Lu Ming. Boom! Without thinking, Lu Ming released his divine power and punched out, smashing into the fiery red light, causing a violent explosion. Then, the fiery red light was sent flying, smashing into the ground, creating a huge crater. There are actually living creatures here. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang were stunned. At this moment, they could clearly see what the fiery red light was. It was a creature that looked extremely similar to a pangolin. Its entire body was covered in a layer of fiery red armor, and its 2 claws revealed ice-cold, sharp claws. Squeak! The pangolin let out a squeak, its eyes looking at Lu Ming with burning greed. Flesh, flesh. The pangolin spoke, and its body flickered, charging at Lu Ming again. Bang! Lu Ming threw another punch, sending the pangolin creature flying and crashing onto the ground. However, the pangolin creature swayed its body and stood up again. What a strong defense! Lu Ming's eyes moved. He could see that this pangolin was roughly a first-layer heavenly god, but its defense was much stronger than other first-layer heavenly gods. An ordinary first-level celestial god would definitely be smashed into pieces by Lu Ming's punch. However, this pangolin living creature seemed to be fine after being hit by Lu Ming's 2 consecutive punches. Flesh, flesh. The pangolin let out a sharp cry and pounced at Lu Ming again. This time, a spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand, and he stabbed it out. Pooh! The spear pierced through the pangolin's mouth. This time, the pangolin struggled for a bit before becoming motionless. It no longer had any signs of life. Lu Ming waved his hand and put away the pangolin. The pangolin's scales were incomparably hard. If used to make armor, it would be difficult for anyone under the heavenly god realm to break through. There are actually living creatures on this planet? How wonderful! Ouyang Qingxiang exclaimed. I think it's the remaining living creatures on this planet. Lu Ming said. He speculated that this planet must have had many living creatures, but after the formation was set up, the stars gradually extinguished and the environment changed greatly. Many living creatures went extinct or left this place. However, some living creatures had extremely tenacious vitality and might evolve as the environment changed and stubbornly survived, such as this pangolin. The appearance of the pangolin made the 2 of them even more cautious. Since the pangolin could exist, there might be more living creatures, or even more terrifying ones. They had to be careful. The 2 withdrew their auras and continued in the same direction. Soon, they encountered another pangolin, but its strength was similar to the previous one. The 2 used their full strength and easily killed it. There are living creatures here, maybe they know the location of the formation plate. Ouyang Qingxiang's eyes suddenly lit up. That's right, why didn't I think of that? Lu Ming's eyes also lit up. Thinking of this, the 2 of them felt a fire burning in their hearts. They continued to advance in this direction. Sure enough, not long after, they encountered the attacks of a few pangolins. The 2 of them heavily injured one of the pangolins and killed the rest. Speak, do you know if there are any formation plates here? Lu Ming stepped on the pangolin's body and coldly asked. Flesh, flesh and blood. The pangolin constantly struggled, constantly roaring. It completely ignored Lu Ming's question. This kind of creature seems to have very low intelligence. It only knows how to devour flesh and blood. Ouyang Qingxiang frowned. Clearly, there were no other living creatures on this planet. These pangolins were extremely thirsty for flesh and blood, which was why they kept attacking Lu Ming's group. However, their intelligence was extremely low. Since their intelligence is low, let's soul search them, Lu Ming said. He then cast the soul-searching technique and began to search his soul. Not long after, Lu Ming obtained some useful information from the pangolin's soul. Array plate. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang's heart stirred. It was very likely that this was the array plate they were looking for. They did not expect that there would really be an array plate here. They were in luck. One should know that there were only 12 of such array plates. Charge over, we must get this array plate. The Paragon Saint roared. At this moment, he had already transformed into the Paragon Diamond body. His body was huge, and his fists were constantly punching out. Every punch was able to send a pangolin flying. Some of them even exploded. Although the pangolins had strong defensive abilities, they could not withstand the Paragon Saint's all-out attack. Fuko Seiko and the others followed beside the Paragon Saint and attacked continuously. They quickly approached the altar. This array plate is mine. Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. Since he had encountered it, how could he let the Paragon Saint and the others get it? Let's go! Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang moved and dashed toward the altar at high speed. Most of the pangolins were attacking the Paragon Saint and the others. They did not notice Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang at all. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang were almost unobstructed. Only a few pangolins attacked them, but they were easily sent flying. They quickly approached the altar. Lu Ming! The Paragon Saint also noticed Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang and let out a furious roar. Especially when he saw Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang quickly approaching the altar, his anger soared to the heavens. Don't even think about it. The Paragon Saint roared. He ignored his own defense and allowed the attacks of the pangolins to land on his body. He madly rushed towards the altar. As a result, his speed was indeed much faster. But compared to Lu Ming, he was still a little slower. Soon, Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang were less than a kilometer away from the altar. At this time, most of the pangolins were finally alerted. Many of them charged towards Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang. Green Lotus Sword Song. Ouyang Qingxiang shouted. With a wave of her hand, numerous green lotuses appeared around her. Boundless sword chi shot out, aiming for the pangolin's mouth and eyes, as well as other vital points. Immediately, quite a few pangolins were killed. Ancient God Body. Lu Ming directly used the ancient god art, and his body rapidly grew. He turned into a 200-meter-tall azure-armored ancient god. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming brandished his long spear and swept away more than 10 pangolins in an instant. Lu Ming strode forward. With just a few steps, he arrived near the altar. His spear shook, sending the pangolins flying. Then he reached out a hand to grab the formation plate. Lu Ming, you dare! The Paragon Saint roared and madly attacked, but he was still a step too slow. Lu Ming grabbed the formation plate. There was nothing strange. Lu Ming grabbed the formation plate. Lu Ming, I was the one who found the formation plate first. Hand it over. The Paragon Saint roared and finally rushed over. He threw a punch at Lu Ming. The resplendent fist was like a golden sun, crushing down on Lu Ming. Its power was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming turned his hand back and fired a shot. Boom! Their attacks collided, and an earth-shattering explosion erupted. Rings of energy spread out in all directions, sending many of the pangolins flying. Bang! Bang! Their huge bodies swayed, and they both took a few steps back. Don't you know that those who saw it have a share? Moreover, you only saw it and didn't get it. Why can't I attack? Lu Ming sneered in response. Then you'll die. Supreme Divine Fist. The Paragon Saint roared, waving his fists toward Lu Ming. With a thought, Lu Ming put away the array card. He then brandished his long spear and charged toward the Paragon Saint. In the battle, Lu Ming used the Divine Dragon Aspect art. 3 huge 9-clawed dragon aspects appeared in the air and pounced at the Paragon Saint. Chapter 2897. Lu Ming and the Paragon Saint were engaged in an intense battle. The two of them had just fought a while ago, and now, Lu Ming still had the upper hand. Lu Ming used all his means. After a dozen moves, Lu Ming had already gained the upper hand. The Paragon Saint was no match for him and was forced to retreat. Come and help me! The Paragon Saint roared. Fuko Seiko, Holy Sun Jixia, and the others also charged over. Floating Light, your opponent is me. Ouyang Qingxiang shouted coldly as she charged toward Fuko Seiko. Ouyang Qingxiang and Fukoseiko were both 5th-level heavenly gods. The two of them fought fiercely. As for Holy Son Jixia, Holy Son Yenkong, and Holy Daughter Xuan, their cultivation bases were a bit weaker. They had just charged toward Lu Ming when they were sent flying by Lu Ming's spear. They were injured and almost vomited blood. They couldn't interfere in the battle between Lu Ming and the Paragon Saint. After exchanging a few more blows, the 9-clawed divine dragon Dharma idol's dragon claw scratched the Paragon Saint's body, leaving a few deep wounds on his Paragon diamond body. The Paragon Saint roared and punched the 9-clawed dragon Dharma idol, causing it to collapse. However, Lu Ming had the quantifying character art. His divine energy continuously poured into his body, and the 3 9-clawed dragon Dharma idols condensed once more. There were also 9 ice chains. As soon as they were destroyed, Lu Ming would condense them again. He didn't care about the consumption of his divine energy. Damn it. Lu Ming, just you wait. The Paragon Saint roared and turned to leave. He knew that the formation plate had been obtained by Lu Ming. It was impossible for him to snatch it back. If the battle continued, it would be disadvantageous for him. The Supreme Holy Son turned around and left. Fukoseiko and the others didn't dare to continue fighting. They hurriedly ran after the Supreme Holy Son and quickly broke out of the encirclement of the pangolins. Lu Ming did not give chase. Although his combat strength could suppress the Paragon Holy Son, defeating him and killing him were two completely different things. With his current strength, it was not quite possible for him to kill the Paragon Holy Son. Let's leave too, Lu Ming said to Ouyang Qingxiang. Then, the two of them charged in another direction. After rushing out of the encirclement, they disappeared from this world. Over 100,000 li away, Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang found a place to rest. 2 days later, after the two of them had recovered to their peak condition, they continued their search on the planet. Unfortunately, they searched the planet for a full 7 to 8 days, but to no avail. It seems like there's only one array plate on this planet. Let's go to other planets to take a look. Ouyang Qingxiang said. All right, then let's go to that planet. Lu Ming stretched out his hand and pointed to the sky. Above them, there was a fiery red planet floating in the air. This planet was even closer to the star. All right. Ouyang Qingxiang nodded. Immediately, the two of them soared into the sky, turned into 2 streams of light, and flew toward that planet. Not long after Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang left, 5 figures appeared in a secret place not far away. They were the Paragon Holy Son, Fukoseiko, and the others. Paragon of Universe, what should we do now? Fukoseiko asked. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang must die. The Paragon Holy Son gritted his teeth, his eyes flashing with a sinister light. With our strength, I'm afraid we can't kill Lu Ming and the others. Holy Maiden Shuatan said. If we can't kill them, naturally, someone else can. Back in the land of the ancient god, Lu Ming killed the Holy Sons of the Mystic Academy and the invincible Kenzo. These two forces want to eliminate Lu Ming. The Paragon Holy Son said coldly. You want to kill them with a borrowed knife? Fukoseiko and the others' eyes lit up. That's right. Now, Emoji and the others from the Mystic Academy are on that dark planet. Let's go there and inform them of Lu Ming's whereabouts. Moreover, Lu Ming still has an array plate. I believe Emoji will definitely make a move. The Paragon Holy Son said, his body emitting a sinister murderous aura. He glanced at Fukoseiko and the others and continued, as long as Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang are dead, the Kongxian school will still be mine. I promise you that I will not mistreat you in the future. Rather than letting the Kongxian school fall into the hands of Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang, why don't you make the decision? Let's go and find Emoji and the others. Fukoseiko said. Immediately, the 5 of them flew towards the dark planet where the Mystic Academy was located. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang did not spend much time on the fiery red planet. The environment of this planet was even worse. The gravity of this planet was stronger than the previous one, and the temperature was shockingly high. Ordinary creatures would not be able to survive here. After the two of them arrived on this planet, they started searching everywhere. This is Red Dawn Gold. Not long after, they found a few pieces of strange metal. Red Dawn gold was an extremely rare refining material. It could be used to refine supreme-grade artifacts used by immortal kings. It was extremely precious. The two of them were overjoyed. Dragon Joshan was right. In this galaxy, other than the array plate, there were indeed other treasures. This kind of metal is very useful to Qiuqiu. If he swallows it, it will definitely be very useful. Lu Ming thought. Thinking of this, Lu Ming looked at the bracelet on his wrist that Qiuqiu had turned into. Ever since Qiuqiu swallowed the bronze from the bronze altar in the ancient god world, he had been in a deep slumber. Until now, there were still no signs of him waking up. There were 2 pieces of Red Dawn gold. Originally, they were going to split them equally. Lu Ming wanted to buy it from Ouyang Qingxiang with divine crystals. Ouyang Qingxiang shook her head and directly gave the Red Dawn gold to Lu Ming. Lu Ming did not stand on ceremony and kept it. After that, they continued to search on this planet and really did find many precious metals. Ouyang Qingxiang knew that these metals were very useful to Lu Ming, so she gave them all to Lu Ming. She only accepted some divine crystals as a token of appreciation. Just as Lu Ming and the rest were searching on this planet, on the other side, the Paragon Saint and Fukoseiko had already found Mo Jui and the rest. Paragon Saint, you actually dared to take the initiative to find us. Aren't you afraid that I will attack and make you stay? Mo Jui sneered as he looked at the Paragon Saint and the rest. A trace of killing intent flashed in his eyes. The Paragon Saint and Fukoseiko's expressions changed slightly. However, they were not ordinary people and quickly calmed down. Mo Jui, to you, we are not a threat at all. The real threat to you is Lu Ming. The Paragon Saint said. Lu Ming? You think that kid is a threat to me? A trace of cold light flashed in Mo Jui's eyes, revealing his strong confidence. That's right. Without a doubt, the divine power that Lu Ming controls is also divine power. Moreover, he has mastered several extremely terrifying secret techniques. His combat strength is amazing. If his cultivation level increases, he may be able to fight you. Also, he already has an array plate in his hands. The Paragon Saint said. Chapter 2898. Oh, there's an array plate? Mo Jioye's eyes lit up. He looked at the Supreme Saint with a faint smile and said, Supreme Universe, I know you want to use me to get rid of Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming has repeatedly offended the Mystic Academy and killed our saint. He deserves to die. Even if you didn't say it, I would still kill him. I'm not borrowing your hand, but cooperating. We'll work together to get rid of Lu Ming. You can have the array plate, and we'll both take what we need. The Supreme Saint said. Whatever. Tell me, where is Lu Ming? Mo Jioye said indifferently. He's on that planet. The Supreme Saint pointed at the fiery red planet in the sky. All right, let's go to that planet. A cold light flashed in Mo Jioye's eyes. He took the lead and flew towards the planet where Lu Ming was. At the same time, the other experts of the Mystic Academy also followed Mo Jioye. Lu Ming, let's see how you're going to die this time. A cold light flashed in the Supreme Saint's eyes. Then he, Fukoseiko, and the others followed the people of the Mystic Academy and rushed towards the planet where Lu Ming was. Not long after, Mo Jioye, the Supreme Saint, and the others landed on the planet where Lu Ming was. However, they couldn't find any traces of Lu Ming and the others. Could it be that Lu Ming and the others have already left this planet? One of the Mystic Academy's Sky Pride asked. I don't think so. They just arrived on this planet not long ago. They must have spent some time searching. It's just that this planet is very big and we haven't met them yet. The Supreme Saint said. Then we'll split up. Four-eyed, you take a few people and move together with Supreme Universe and the others. I'll take a few people with me. Remember, once you meet Lu Ming and the others, send me a message immediately. Don't let him escape. Mo Jioye instructed. Yes, once we meet Lu Ming, he won't be able to escape. Four-eyed Emptiness was full of confidence. Autark Cosmos's eyes flickered, but he didn't say anything. He knew that this was the best arrangement. Four-eyed Empty Space's battle prowess wasn't any weaker than his. If he and Four-eyed Empty Space worked together, they wouldn't need to fear Lu Ming. Once Mo Jiaoyi arrived, Lu Ming would be dead for sure. After splitting the spoils, Mo Jiaoyi left with the other Sky Prides. Four-eyed Hollow Court and Sovereign of the Universe took some people and set off in another direction. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang were completely unaware that the Paragon Saint had already joined forces with the Mystic Academy and attacked this planet. They continued their search on the planet. There really weren't any living beings on this planet. They could only search around in the dark. It had to be said that their luck was really good. 2 days later, they found an altar in a canyon. Above the altar, there was a bronze array plate floating. There were only 12 array plates in total. They actually found another one. Their luck was really amazing. The two of them were overjoyed. Just as they were about to fly over and take the array plate, a few figures rushed towards them at an astonishing speed. In the blink of an eye, they appeared in front of Lu Ming and blocked their way. Autar Cosmos, it's you again. Four-eyed Hollow Court, why are you guys together? Ouyang Qingxiang's expression changed drastically when she saw them. Send a message to the Divine Sun. Four-eyed Hollow Court ordered one of the Mystic Academy's Sky Prides to send a message to Mo Jiaoyi. Meanwhile, his 4 eyes were glaring coldly at Lu Ming. He, Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang. Let's see where you can escape this time. The Paragon Saint's figure flashed and appeared behind Lu Ming and the others, blocking their path of retreat. Autar Cosmos, you're joining forces with the Mystic Academy? You're going against our Kongxian school's disciples? Ouyang Qingxiang shouted angrily. Her expression was ugly as she looked around. She was afraid that Mo Jiaoyi would be nearby. That would be dangerous. However, Ouyang Qingxiang heaved a sigh of relief when she didn't see Mo Jiaoyi. Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang, who asked you to be so stubborn to go against me? You deserve to die. The Paragon Saint roared ferociously. Then he said to Four-eyed Hollow Court, Four-eyed Hollow Court, let's attack together and delay Lu Ming. There's no need for us to join forces against a mere Lu Ming. Autar Cosmos, I think you're becoming more and more useless. Let me do it. Four-eyed Hollow Court looked at the Paragon Saint with disdain. He could clearly sense that Lu Ming was only a true Immortal Realm cultivator. He didn't believe that a true Immortal Realm cultivator would be able to fight against him. Boom. Four-eyed Hollow Court emitted a berserk aura. Vast divine force surged out. 6th level Heavenly God Realm, Four-eyed Hollow Court's cultivation base was the same as the Paragon Saint's. He was also a Heavenly God Realm cultivator, and he could control Saint-grade divine force. Four-eyed Hollow Court waved his hand, and spear lights shot out from his fingers. They were sharp and resplendent as they attacked Lu Ming. Ancient God Art, Space Splitter. In an instant, Lu Ming used the Ancient God Art and transformed into the Ancient God Body. The long spear in his hand constantly stabbed out, destroying Four-eyed Hollow Court's spear lights. Ancient God Body, you've also cultivated the Ancient God Body. Four-eyed Hollow Court roared in disbelief. His 4 eyes were filled with envy and jealousy. With a loud roar, he turned into a ray of light and attacked Lu Ming. At the same time, his 4 eyes shone brightly. Then, 4 terrifying beams of light burst forth and charged toward Lu Ming. They were extremely powerful. Void Break, Void Break. Lu Ming continuously executed the first move of the 3 Armageddon strikes. His long spear vibrated, and in an instant, terrifying spear lights were thrust out, blocking Four-eyed Hollow Court's attacks. So strong, how is this possible? Four-eyed Hollow Court was dumbfounded. He finally knew why the Paragon Saint was defeated by Lu Ming. It wasn't because the Paragon Saint was trash, but because Lu Ming was too monstrous. Lu Ming executed the Godly Dragon aspect art, and used all kinds of methods to attack Four-eyed Hollow Court. Four-eyed Hollow Court's battle strength was indeed very strong. He was not weaker than Paragon Universe, especially the attacks from his 4 eyes. They were extremely terrifying, and even Lu Ming was wary of them. In an instant, the two had exchanged more than 10 blows. The more they fought, The more shocked four-eyed Hollow Court was as he felt that he was no match for Lu Ming. Paragon Universe, let's attack together. Four-eyed Hollow Court roared. I already told you, let's attack together. Paragon Universe sneered, then turned into Paragon Vajra and attacked Lu Ming. The two of them joined forces, and for a moment, Lu Ming was suppressed. On the other side, the others attacked Ouyang Qingxiang, putting her in imminent danger. I can't stay here for long. Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind and decided to leave first. Paragon Universe and Four-Eyed Hollow Court were not Lu Ming's opponents by themselves. But when the two of them joined forces, Lu Ming was no match for them. At most, he could only protect himself. Chapter 2899. Even if Lu Ming could protect himself, Ouyang Qingxiang was still in danger. That was why Lu Ming couldn't be bothered to fight with her. Explode! Explode! Lu Ming's heart stirred. The three nine-clawed divine dragon Dharma appearances exploded with a loud bang, forming a terrifying wave of energy. In an instant, the Supreme King Kong transformed by the Paragon Saint was forced to retreat continuously. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lu Ming charged out of the encirclement and charged toward Ouyang Qingxiang. At this moment, Ouyang Qingxiang was fully focused on defense. Green lotus flowers floated around her, blocking the attacks, but she was still in imminent danger. That was because there were people in the Mystic Academy stronger than her. Even if she focused on defense, she was still in danger. Scram! At this moment, Lu Ming arrived. His spear pressed down, turning into a dozen huge spear images that pressed down like a mountain range. Rumble! The spear light pressed down, causing a terrifying vibration. Fuko Seiko, the holy son of Jixia, the holy son of Yen Sky, the holy daughter of Xuetan, and the other 6 holy sons and holy daughters of the Mystic Academy all had a change in expression. With a roar, each of them unleashed their strongest attacks at Lu Ming. Boom! 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 Terrifying vibrations erupted, and more than 10 figures were pushed back. Saint Sun Fuguang and the rest of the top 10 experts were blasted back by Lu Ming's one move. They were at least 100 meters away. A few of them with weaker cultivation levels even trembled and spat out a mouthful of blood. How terrifying! The same thought appeared in their minds. They were also holy sons, but even with so many of them working together, they were still pushed back by Lu Ming. Some of them were even injured. Lu Ming's strength shocked them. Let's go! Lu Ming dashed past. A stream of divine power wrapped around Ouyang Qingxiang and they dashed forward. Where do you think you're going? The Paragon Universe and Four-Eyed Emptiness roared as they chased after Lu Ming. The others followed closely behind. In the blink of an eye, the two sides had traveled several thousand li. However, Lu Ming was even faster. He was like a rock flying through the air, constantly pulling away from Paragon Cosmos, Four-Eyed Hollow Temple, and the others. Damn it! The universe supremacy roared. The killing intent in his heart was extremely dense. Lu Ming had to die. Otherwise, the fact that he had colluded with the Mystic Academy to kill Lu Ming would definitely be exposed. When that time came, even if he had someone backing him up, he would never be able to make a name for himself in the Kongshen school. He would be despised by everyone. Therefore, he must kill Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang. Don't worry, just let him run in this direction. His eyes were empty, but his face was calm. Could it be in that direction? A thought occurred to Autark Cosmos Master, and his eyes lit up. That's right. Mo Yi is coming from that direction. If he runs in that direction, he'll be walking right into the trap. So, we just have to keep chasing from behind and let him run forward. Four-Eyed Emptiness sneered. That's great. Autark Cosmos Master was overjoyed. Of course, their conversation was through telepathy. They were afraid that Lu Ming would hear them. The chase continued for another half an hour. The distance between the two parties had widened. Autark Cosmos Master and the others could barely see Lu Ming's figure. Not good. Lu Ming, stop. At this moment, Gu Mo's voice rang out. What's wrong? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He could not help but stop. There's an expert in front of us. He's very strong. You're definitely not his match. He's fast. He's almost there. Quickly change direction. Gu Mo said loudly. He was a little anxious. Could it be Mo Jioyi? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The first thing he thought of was Mo Jioyi. Since Four-Eyed Emptiness and the others had appeared, Mo Jioyi was probably on this planet as well. Without thinking, Lu Ming immediately changed direction and rushed to the left. Damn it, why did he change direction? Did he discover Mo Jioyi? After him. Four-Eyed Emptiness shouted angrily and chased in Lu Ming's direction. Rumble. Lu Ming had just changed direction and ran for a short distance when he sensed a terrifying aura coming from the direction he had come from. The speed of the aura was extremely shocking. When it first appeared, it was still far away. In a few breaths, it appeared not far away. It's Mo Jioyi. Lu Ming looked around and saw Mo Jioyi's figure. A layer of black light appeared outside Mo Jioyi's body, making him look like a dark cloud. He chased after Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. His speed was even faster than Lu Ming's. The distance between him and Lu Ming was constantly closing. At first, the two parties were still a few thousand miles apart. Soon, the distance between them was less than 1,000 miles. After running for a while, the distance between the two parties was less than 300 miles. If this continued, Lu Ming would be caught soon. Lu Ming died. Mo Jioyi's cold voice sounded. The black light around his body surged and turned into a pitch-black claw. It crossed the distance of a few hundred miles and grabbed at Lu Ming. Divine Dragon Dharma Laksana. Lu Ming used the Divine Dragon Dharma Laksana. 3 huge 9-clawed dragons condensed and pounced at Mo Jioyi's claw. Child's play. Mo Jioyi shouted coldly as the pitch-black claw came down. Bam, bam, bam. With 3 booming sounds, the 3 9-clawed Divine Dragon Dharma characteristics collapsed. They were unable to stop the black claws at all. The black claws continued to move toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming's face changed. He turned around and used all his strength to attack. Lu Ming used the second move of the 3 annihilating strikes, moon slashing. Holding the spear with both hands, he slashed down. A crescent-shaped spear light blasted at the pitch-black claw. When the crescent-shaped spear light struck the pitch-black claw, there was a violent explosion. The crescent-shaped spear light trembled and then exploded. Lu Ming felt an incomparably powerful force surging from his spear. His body shook violently and his huge body frantically retreated. Lu Ming spat out a mouthful of blood. He also felt a pitch-black energy covering his body. It had a terrifying corrosive power that wanted to corrode his body. What a terrifying divine power! Lu Ming's face was grave. The 6 divine fires in his body revolved at full power. Divine power rushed to the surface of his body to block the incoming divine power. Mo Jioyi's divine power was a type of divine-grade divine power. Its power was astonishing. Let's go! Lu Ming did not stop. While blocking the divine power, he ran forward. You have some strength, but it's not enough. Kill. Mo Jioyi shouted coldly and launched another attack from a distance. Lu Ming ran forward while blocking the attacks. Mo Jioyi's strength was truly astonishing. Lu Ming could already sense that Mo Jioyi's cultivation was at the 6th level of the heavenly god realm. However, he controlled a divine-grade divine power. His strength was much stronger than the likes of the Sovereign Universe and Four-Eyed Empyrean. Lu Ming was not his opponent at all. Even if he was attacking from a distance, the power was still astonishing. Chapter 2900. Although Mo Jioyi's cultivation was only at the 6th level of the heavenly god realm, which was on par with Sovereign Universe and Four-Eyed Empyrean, his battle prowess far surpassed theirs. Even after exchanging a few blows, Lu Ming felt that he was far from being Mo Jioyi's match. After a few moves, Lu Ming's blood boiled, and blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. The distance between him and Mo Jioyi was rapidly closing. That kid is dead for sure. Behind him, Sovereign Universe was overjoyed, and he increased his speed to chase after Lu Ming. He wanted to join forces with Mo Jioyi to attack Lu Ming. This can't go on. Lu Ming's thoughts raced. If this continued, Yi would catch up to him soon. When Sovereign Universe and Four-Eyed Empyrean caught up, Lu Ming wouldn't be able to escape even if he had wings. Only death awaited him. Lu Ming, there is only one way now. Fly in the direction of the star, toward the planet closest to the star. The gravitational force will be stronger as it is closer to the star. The environment there will definitely be more complicated. You will then have a chance to escape. Bone Devil's voice sounded. He was very knowledgeable and quickly came up with a plan. All right. Lu Ming did not hesitate and struck out with his spear. A huge spear light collided with Yi's attack. Lu Ming's body shook violently, but at the same time, Lu Ming borrowed the momentum to soar into the sky. The cry of a Kuan Peng resounded as Lu Ming executed the Nine Heavens Kuan Peng art. Abundant God Force formed a Kuan Peng on the surface of Lu Ming's body. With a flap of its wings, the Kuan Peng soared 90,000 li into the sky, rushing towards the planet closest to the star. You want to escape? Dream on. Yi reacted, and his figure also soared into the sky, chasing after Lu Ming. Behind him, Sovereign Universe, Four-Eyed Empyrean, and the rest also soared into the sky, chasing after Lu Ming. Rushing out of the starry sky, Lu Ming executed the Nine Heavens Kuan Peng art with all his might, and his speed became even faster. For a moment, Yi actually couldn't catch up to Lu Ming. The two sides, one fleeing and the other chasing, crossed a long distance and rapidly approached the planet closest to the star. From afar, the planet closest to the star was fiery red, as if it was shrouded in a layer of fiery red clouds. It was a dazzling sight. Very soon, Lu Ming was not far from the planet. Lu Ming, even if you run to the ends of the earth, you'll still die. Emoji's Ro Yi chased after Lu Ming Empyrean. He heavens earth's you. Heaven, he's heaven heaven earth's earth planet 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 planets heaven heaven. Heaven earth 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 earth. S's, S level Empyrean level heaven heaven? What a terrifying gravitational force. Lu Ming revealed a shocked expression. The gravitational force of this planet was beyond Lu Ming's imagination. It was extremely terrifying. Even Lu Ming almost fell for it due to his carelessness. But before Lu Ming could recover, a gale attacked Lu Ming. Its speed was extremely shocking, and before Lu Ming could react, he was swept away by the gale. Hot. That was Lu Ming's first thought. This gale was incomparably hot, and its temperature was even more terrifying than lava. Lu Ming felt a burning sensation on his skin. Lu Ming hastily circulated his divine energy to resist. Only then did he feel a bit better. However, this gale's power was too shocking. Even if Lu Ming wanted to use his full power to charge out, he was unable to do so. He could only be swept away by the gale. Behind him, Yi had followed Lu Ming into this planet. But his fate was the same as Lu Ming's. As soon as he charged in, he was also swept away by the gale. Unable to control himself, he was swept away in a different direction from Lu Ming. After Yi, Sovereign Universe, Four-Eyed Empyrean, Fuko Seiko, and the others all charged into this planet. But those with weaker cultivation bases were even more miserable. They were unable to control themselves, and they were sucked in by the terrifying gravitational force. They fell to the ground, heavily injured. As for those with higher cultivation bases, although they were able to resist the gravitational force, they were swept away by the gale. It was unknown where they were sent flying. The group of people had all scattered. Lu Ming was swept along by the gale. He didn't know how far he had flown. Slowly, the gale's power weakened, and Lu Ming took the opportunity to charge out of the gale and fly back to the ground. Bang! Lu Ming landed heavily on the ground. The hardness of the ground here was even more astonishing. It was several times harder than the ground of the previous few planets. The powerful gravitational force was constantly acting on Lu Ming's body, forcing Lu Ming to constantly circulate his divine power to resist. Lu Ming was on guard. But after waiting for a while, nothing happened. It seems that the gale only exists in the sky of this planet. It's relatively rare on the ground. As long as I avoid it carefully, I should be fine. Lu Ming pondered, and then released his right palm. Ouyang Qingxiang was sitting cross-legged on Lu Ming's palm. At this moment, Lu Ming was in his ancient god body. He was a few hundred meters tall, and his palm was incomparably huge. It was very easy for him to hold Ouyang Qingxiang. Lu Ming, are you okay? Where are Mo Jiuyi and the others? Ouyang Qingxiang quickly asked. I got rid of them, Lu Ming said. As he spoke, Lu Ming's body quickly shrank to the size of an ordinary person. Then he felt a wave of weakness. In the previous battle, Lu Ming had been maintaining his ancient god body for a long time, which consumed a lot of his physical strength. Then, the two of them randomly chose a direction and ran. Soon, they found a secluded place where the two of them temporarily rested. A few days later, the two of them had recovered to their peak state. Only then did they leave this place and move forward. Soon, the two of them had a harvest. Lu Ming found a few pieces of strange metal. In the next few days, the two of them continued to harvest. There were actually a lot of precious metals on this planet. Lu Ming's face was full of smiles. This planet was the closest to the star, so it was the most affected by the formation. It was indeed extraordinary. Suddenly, a sharp cry came from ahead. Is there a living creature? Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang were stunned. Listening to the sound, it seemed to be the cry of a bird. But on this planet, in such a harsh environment, there were still living creatures? The two of them were very curious and flew in the direction of the sound. Boom, boom. Soon, the two of them heard a violent roar. Someone was fighting. The two of them quickly concealed their aura. After flying for a while, they finally saw the situation clearly. 5 young men and women were engaged in a fierce battle with 3 giant birds. They are from the Chonglu sect. Ouyang Qingxiang recognized the origin of the 5 people at a glance. They were the geniuses of the Chonglu sect, one of the top 10 sects in the Qin Tian 13 sects. The Chonglu sect was considered to be one of the top 10 sections. Of course, it was still a little inferior to the Kongxian school. The 5 people in front of them were very strong. 3 of them were saints. The strongest one was not weaker than Ouyang Qingxiang. Chapter 2901. The 5 of them were fighting against 3 large snow-white birds with a wingspan of more than 50 meters. No, they're not real creatures. They're made of energy. Lu Ming's eyes moved. He could see that the 3 large birds were not living creatures at all. They were made of energy and had no aura of life. Chonglu flying snow. The 5 young men and women from Chonglu sect were all using a battle axe with amazing power. The battle axe completely suppressed the 3 large birds. Especially the black-robed young man whose strength was not weaker than Ouyang Qingxiang. He chopped down with his battle axe and chopped off a large bird's wing. Kill! The black-robed young man shouted and swung his battle axe horizontally with the power to split open the sky. The large bird's head was chopped off and its body collapsed directly. To Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang's surprise, the large bird turned into a stream of energy after it collapsed and poured into the black-robed young man's body. The black-robed young man looked satisfied and excited. Kill! Then, the black-robed young man attacked the other 2 large birds. Not long after, the remaining 2 giant birds were slain. Similar to the previous one, the 2 giant birds collapsed and turned into streams of energy that were absorbed by the 5 young men and women. Awesome, this is awesome. If this goes on, our cultivation will break through soon. A young woman's face was filled with excitement. Yes, I don't know what these large birds are. After killing them, we can absorb their energy. This is a great opportunity. Let's continue moving forward. The black-robed young man said. Then, the 5 of them continued moving forward. Soon, several large birds appeared and pounced on the black-robed young man and his group. What a waste! They're simply wasting natural resources by absorbing it like that. I'm so angry. In the sea of consciousness, the quantifying character formula shouted unhappily. Old quantifying character, do you know what those large birds are? Lu Ming asked. Nonsense, of course I know. They're formed by the energy overflowing from the stellar core fragment. The energy of the stellar core fragment is extremely pure, so the energy overflowing from the stellar core fragment can be absorbed directly. The quantifying character formula said. Stellar core fragment. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. It was no wonder that the black-robed youth's group of 5 were able to absorb the energy of that huge bird after killing it. It's a complete waste for them to absorb the energy like that. I'm afraid they can't even absorb half of the energy. The rest will dissipate. If it were me, I would definitely be able to absorb 100% of the energy. The quantifying formula said. Are you saying that there are stellar core fragments in this area? Lu Ming asked. That's right, kid. If you get the stellar core fragment, I'm confident that I can help you break through to the heavenly god realm in a short time. The quantifying formula said. I must get the stellar core fragment. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with brilliance. As Lu Ming was about to rush out and chase the black-robed young man away so that he could claim the place for himself, a few beams of light rapidly approached him from the distance. It's him, Four-Eyed Emptiness. Lu Ming glanced around and found that the newcomer was the peerless prodigy of the Mystic Academy, Four-Eyed Emptiness. There were also a few other peerless prodigies of the Mystic Academy. The black-robed young man and the others also noticed Four-Eyed Emptiness and the others, and their faces darkened. Bush, bush, bush. Four-Eyed Emptiness and the others hovered in the air and looked at the large birds with greed. These are formed by the energy of the stellar core fragment. Haha. There's a stellar core fragment here. Four-Eyed Emptiness roared in his heart, and his eyes were filled with greed. As a peerless prodigy of the 3 overlords, he naturally had a broad vision. He could tell that these large birds were formed by the energy of the stellar core fragment. This was a great opportunity. You can all scram now. This place is mine. Four-Eyed Emptiness said coldly. Four-Eyed Emptiness, we found this place first. Don't you think it's too overbearing to chase us away like this? The black-robed young man said with a dark face. Overbearing? Ha, you can stay here forever if you don't want to leave. Four-Eyed Emptiness sneered. The black-robed young man and the others were enraged. It was not easy for them to come across such an opportunity, and they were unwilling to leave just like that. They quickly retreated and dodged the attacks of the large birds. However, they did not intend to leave. You still think you can get away with this? How foolish. Then I'll send you on your way. Four-Eyed Emptiness shouted coldly. His 4 eyes opened and shot out 4 beams of light towards the black-robed young man and the others. Chong Lu Flying Snow. The black-robed young man roared in anger and continuously slashed out with his battle axe. More than a dozen axe radiances slashed towards the beams of light shot out by Four-Eyed Emptiness. Bam, bam. After a few violent explosions, the black-robed young man's body shook violently. He retreated continuously and spat out a mouthful of blood. He was no match for Four-Eyed Emptiness. It was just like how Ouyang Qingxiang could not withstand more than a few moves from Supreme Universe Master. Ha, Four-Eyed Emptiness, you're really impressive. At this moment, a cold laugh was heard from afar. Then, a few sword radiances flashed rapidly. In the next moment, a few more figures appeared in the area. The few young men carried long swords on their backs. The one in the lead had sharp eyebrows and eagle-like eyes. He looked extraordinary. Zhuobudong. Four-Eyed Emptiness's gaze turned cold and solemn. It's him. He's an extremely powerful sky pride from Invincible Kenzo. He's second only to the Invincible Kenzo's Divine Sun, Infinite Sword Dao. His strength is not any weaker than Supreme Universe Master. Ouyang Qingxiang's face also turned solemn as she transmitted her voice to Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded. He also felt a terrifying sword will from this person. When the black-robed young man and the others saw Zhuobudong appear, their faces turned even uglier. Four-Eyed Emptiness and Zhuobudong appeared one after another. The opportunities in this place had nothing to do with them. How lucky! There really is a stellar core fragment in this place. Ha, it's mine. Zhuobudong laughed loudly. He was full of confidence and greed. It's yours? Zhuobudong, you're really overconfident. Four-Eyed Emptiness sneered. Four-Eyed Emptiness, are you trying to stop me? The outside world has always regarded me as your equal. Today, I'll see what right you have to be my equal. Zhuobudong said coldly. As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying sword will rose from his body. With a clang, he unsheathed his sword and a snow-white sword radiance shot towards Four-Eyed Emptiness. Four-Eyed Sky Fixing. Four-Eyed Emptiness shouted. His 4 eyes were like 4 suns, emitting a dazzling radiance. Then 4 beams of light burst out and turned into 4 long spears that shot towards Zhuobudong. Clang, clang, clang. The sword radiance and the destructive beam collided continuously, erupting with terrifying sound waves. In the blink of an eye, the 2 of them had exchanged dozens of blows. After that, both of them retreated at the same time. They were evenly matched. Chapter 2902. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuobudong looked at each other from a distance. Both of them looked solemn. For a moment, no one made a move. They knew that if they were to fight, it would take a long time to determine the winner. Moreover, if both of them were injured, the black-robed young man and his companions would take advantage of the situation. At this moment, several large birds chirped and pounced on Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuobudong respectively. Clang. Swoosh. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuobudong attacked at the same time. In an instant, the birds were killed by them and turned into rolling energy that surged into their bodies and was absorbed by them. Awesome, this is awesome. Four-Eyed Hollow was intoxicated. Zhuobudong was the same. After absorbing these large birds, their cultivation would increase rapidly. Absorbing 1 large bird was equivalent to 1,000 years of cultivation. What could be more awesome than this? Four-Eyed Hollow, how about we have a fair competition for the stellar core fragments here? Whoever gets them will get them. What do you think? Zhuobudong stared at Four-Eyed Hollow and said, Okay, let's do that. But before that, we still need to get rid of some irrelevant people. Four-Eyed Hollow finished his words and glanced coldly at the black-robed young man and his companions. That's right. Get lost or die. Zhuobudong said coldly. The black-robed young man and his companions looked terrible, but they did not dare to refute. In this world, strength was respected. If one talked too much without strength, death was the only way out. Let's go! The black-robed young man shouted angrily and turned to leave. Although the other 4 geniuses of the Chonglu sect were unwilling, they could only leave with the black-robed young man. There are 2 more ants. But are you still not leaving? After the black-robed young man and his companions left, Four-Eyed Hollow looked in the direction of Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang and said coldly, It seems that we have been discovered. Lu Ming smiled faintly and stepped out with Ouyang Qingxiang. Lu Ming, it's you. Four-Eyed Hollow shouted angrily after seeing Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang. Four-Eyed Hollow's eyes flickered with cold killing intent. Lu Ming, it's you. Ha, good, very good. In the ancient god world, you killed one of the holy princes of the invincible Kenzo. Now, leave your life behind. A terrifying sword will rushed out of Zhuobudong's body. As soon as he finished speaking, a snow-white sword light rushed towards Lu Ming with terrifying power. Without any hesitation, Lu Ming displayed the ancient god tactics and transformed into a green-armored ancient god. He lashed out with his spear and defeated Zhuobudong's sword light. Kill! Lu Ming yelled. His fighting spirit soared to the sky. Under the support of quadruple combat strength, Lu Ming was full of power. Holding the long spear, he charged toward Zhuobudong. Zhuobudong's pupils contracted. Obviously, Lu Ming's strength had far exceeded his expectations. Undying Sword Dao! Zhuobudong yelled and unleashed a terrifying divine skill, charging towards Lu Ming. Boom! Boom! In the blink of an eye, the 2 had exchanged more than 10 moves. The others could only see the sword light and spear light in the sky. In the beginning, the sword light and spear light were evenly matched. But after a few breaths, the spear light began to suppress the sword light. The sword light vibrated non-stop and finally exploded with a boom. A figure could be seen retreating. The one who retreated was naturally Zhuobudong. How is this possible? Zhuobudong's eyes were filled with disbelief. He never expected Lu Ming's strength to be so powerful that even he was no match for him. Four-Eyed Hollow had fought with Lu Ming before, so he was not too surprised. Zhuobudong, this Lu Ming is really abnormal. I'm afraid you can't take him down alone. How about we join forces to kill this person together? Four-Eyed Hollow said to Zhuobudong. Okay. Zhuobudong nodded and emitted a terrifying sword will. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuobudong formed a triangle and forced their way towards Lu Ming. The two of you want to join forces to kill me. Good, very good. But do you think it's easy to kill me? If I go all out, I can drag one of you down with me. Even if I can't kill you, I can at least seriously injure you. If one of you is seriously injured, will the other let him go? Lu Ming sneered. As soon as these words came out, Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuobudong's figures stopped immediately. They looked at each other and saw the vigilance in each other's eyes. Lu Ming was right. Even if the two of them joined forces to deal with Lu Ming, with Lu Ming's strength, it was not impossible for him to drag one of them down with him if he fought back before death. Even if he couldn't kill him, he could definitely seriously injure him. If one of them was seriously injured, would the other let him go? It was impossible. Who didn't want to monopolize the stellar core fragment? For a moment, the two of them did not make a move. Lu Ming, don't try to drive a wedge between us. Four-Eyed Hollow said in a deep voice. Ha, drive a wedge between us? I'm just telling the truth. If you want to fight, I'll keep you company. Lu Ming sneered. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuobudong still did not make a move. They naturally knew that what Lu Ming said was indeed the truth. For a moment, the three sides were in a deadlock. Anyone who sees the stellar core fragment will have a share. Let's compete fairly. Whoever can get it will have it. How about that? When the others arrive, we won't have a share, especially the divine princes. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuobudong's eyes flashed. They were obviously persuaded. In the Mystic Academy or Invincible Kenzo, the divine princes and divine princes were also competitors, just like the Kongshen school. Four-Eyed Hollow had always been suppressed by Mo. It would be a lie to say that he didn't want to replace and defeat Mo. If Mo found this place, the stellar core fragment would definitely be monopolized by Mo. How could he have a share? Compared to killing Lu Ming, obtaining the opportunity for himself was more important. Alright, let's compete fairly. The stellar core fragment will belong to whoever has the strength and the opportunity. Four-Eyed Hollow finally compromised. After saying that, he led the people of the Mystic Academy and rushed forward. Let's go! Zhuobudong couldn't fall behind. He also led the other Sky Prides of the Invincible Kenzo and rushed forward. Let's go too! Lu Ming nodded at Ouyang Qingxiang. The two of them also moved forward in a flash. Not long after they walked in this direction, a large bird swooped out and attacked them. Kill! Lu Ming waved his long spear and pressed down. A large bird was killed by Lu Ming. Suddenly, the large bird collapsed and turned into rolling energy that rushed into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming, let me do it first. I'll pass it to you after I devour it. The measure formula said. Then, a powerful suction force erupted and devoured the energy that the large bird had turned into. In the next moment, an incomparably pure energy surged out of the measure formula and poured into Lu Ming's limbs and bones. Lu Ming circulated the universe myriad Dao arts to absorb this energy and convert it into divine power. As long as I release my aura, those giant birds made of energy will definitely not dare to approach you. The quantifying formula said. So simple? Lu Ming was stunned. It's that simple. The measure formula said with a resolute tone. Alright. Lu Ming secretly nodded. He already had an idea in his mind. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuobudong, it seems that we have to join forces to rush in. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke to Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuobudong. Join forces? Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuobudong's eyes flashed. Yes, let's join forces. After rushing in, we'll seize the fragments of the stellar core with our own abilities. Lu Ming said. I agree. Me too. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuobudong nodded. After making up their minds, they were ready to take action. Qingxiang, wait a minute. You have to follow me closely. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Ouyang Qingxiang. Ouyang Qingxiang nodded silently and followed Lu Ming closely. Suddenly, Lu Ming shouted and rushed toward the flock of giant birds at the entrance of the canyon. At the same time, Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong also rushed toward the entrance of the canyon. As soon as they moved, the giant birds also noticed them and moved together. They let out sharp screeches and pounced toward Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming shouted and waved his long spear to kill those giant birds. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong also attacked with all their might. However, there were too many giant birds. It was easier said than done to rush in. However, because of this, Zhuo Budong and Four-Eyed Hollow and the others attracted a large number of giant birds. Old measure, now's the time. Lu Ming sent a message to the measure formula. Watch me. The voice of the measure formula was heard. At the same time, the measure formula glowed and a mysterious aura was emitted, shrouding Lu Ming. Originally, there were a few giant birds pouncing toward Lu Ming. Suddenly, they sensed the aura of the measure formula and their eyes were filled with fear. They directly flew away from Lu Ming. It's really effective. Qingxiang, follow me. Lu Ming pulled Ouyang Qingxiang's small hand. The aura of the measure formula followed Ouyang Qingxiang's small hand and covered her entire body. The surrounding giant birds also directly ignored Ouyang Qingxiang and did not pounce toward her. When Lu Ming pulled her small hand, Ouyang Qingxiang's delicate body began to tremble and her face turned red. However, in the next moment, her beautiful eyes were filled with astonishment. Because she realized that the giant birds were not pouncing toward her. They directly ignored her and pounced toward Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong. Ouyang Qingxiang was extremely surprised. She knew that all this was because of Lu Ming. Her curiosity toward Lu Ming grew even stronger. Let's go. Lu Ming held Ouyang Qingxiang's small hand and rushed into the canyon. Not a single giant bird stopped him. Damn it. How is this possible? Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong also noticed Lu Ming's strange behavior. It was simply unbelievable and they all roared. Lu Ming, stop right there. How dare you trick me? Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong roared. Their murderous intent was as cold as a knife. You guys have fun. I won't keep you company. Lu Ming smiled indifferently and continued to rush forward with Ouyang Qingxiang. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared from Four-Eyed Hollow and the others' vision. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong roared again and again. Their murderous intent was as cold as a knife, but there was nothing they could do. Let's not fight with these giant birds. Save our strength and surround them. When that kid Lu Ming comes out, it will be his death. Four-Eyed Hollow said coldly. That's right. That kid dared to trick me. He's asking for it. Zhuo Budong's voice was also extremely cold. Immediately, they stopped fighting with the giant birds and retreated. When they had retreated a certain distance, the giant birds stopped chasing and flew back to the canyon. Four-Eyed Hollow and Zhuo Budong stood guard nearby, waiting for Lu Ming to come out so that they could kill Lu Ming. After Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang broke into the flock of giant birds, their vision suddenly widened. In the canyon, there was not a single giant bird. Those giant birds were only circling around the canyon entrance and above the canyon. As soon as Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang entered, their gazes were deeply attracted. In mid-air of the canyon, there was a ball of light suspended there, emitting a dazzling brilliance. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Immortal Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.